Middle East Report with James Dorsey on Sabahul Muslim.
Yes, it is the Middle East Report with James Dorsey, who is an award-winning scholar and journalist with a different perspective on the Middle East and senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies in Singapore. James, thank you very much for your time, and as always, a pleasure to have you on Radio Islam International.
Pleasure to be with you on this sunny Friday in Bangkok.
Indeed, it's a sunny Friday here in South Africa also. Let's start off, James. U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are likely to have a heated discussion when the two men meet later this month. If the presidents privately express frustration with the Prime Minister, is anything to go by?
Indeed, Trump worries that Netanyahu is undermining his efforts to move from the first to the second phase of his Gaza ceasefire proposal. Trump responded sharply in private messages to Netanyahu to the recent killing of senior Hamas commander Raed Saad in violation of the ceasefire. Moreover, Netanyahu's actions and policies complicate, if not make impossible, the creation of an international stabilization force that would replace Israeli troops in Gaza. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is meeting senior Qatari, Egyptian, and Turkish officials in Miami today in an effort to narrow the differences. Already, Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani warned this week in Washington, after a meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, that there was no ceasefire in Gaza without a free flow of humanitarian aid and a halt to Israeli violations.
Differences between Trump and Netanyahu are accentuated by the United States backing away from demanding full disarmament of Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon.
To pressure Netanyahu, Trump has cast doubt on his planned December 29 meeting with the Prime Minister in Florida. Trump said the meeting, the Prime Minister's fifth with the president since Trump returned to the Oval Office in January, had not been finalized. Their differences have widened, with the Trump administration loosely defining what disarmament of Hezbollah and Hamas means. Israel insists that disarmament is the priority. Netanyahu wants an international stabilization force to disarm Hamas and continues to violate the Gaza and Lebanon ceasefires in pursuit of that goal. Trump's special envoy to Lebanon and Syria, Tom Baraka, said disarmament of Hezbollah is not reasonable. At the same time, the administration appears open to a formula in Gaza in which Hamas would put what is left of its heavy weaponry in the safekeeping of Egypt or the Palestine Authority, but keep its sidearms.
And then there's also, talks that Trump and Netanyahu are pushing for a meeting between the Egyptian president as well as the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and they both traveled to the United States this month for separate talks with the U.S. president.
A meeting between Netanyahu and al-Sisi would be as bold as his predecessors Anwar Sadat and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed did when they recognized Israel. Only this time, al-Sisi would be going out on a limb in a far more emotionally charged environment after more than 2 years of Israeli destruction of Gaza and the killing of some 70,000 Palestinians. Arab leaders and public opinion would not look kindly on al-Sisi meeting a man for whom the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant without having secured significant Israeli concessions. For now, al-Sisi has not ruled out a meeting. Instead, he has set conditions, including a resolution of outstanding differences over an Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, the opening of the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza, and security. All of this hasn't stopped al-Sisi from moving forward with a $35 billion deal on the supply of Israeli natural gas to Egypt.
And then finally, with the Arab and Muslim states reticent to contribute to an international stabilization force in Gaza without an Israeli withdrawal and Palestinian representation, the United Arab Emirates privately offers to fund the hiring of Colombian mercenaries.
Indeed, potential Arab and Muslim contributors to an international stabilization force are reluctant to commit without Israel completely withdrawing from Gaza and Hamas agreeing to disarm. Egypt and the United Arab Emirates are the potential outliers. In the UAE's case, sources suggest that it may be willing to fund the participation of Colombian mercenaries rather than contributing forces of its own. The UAE has a long-standing relationship with the mercenaries, dating back more than a decade, when it hired Blackwater founder Eric Prince to assemble a force made up of mostly Latin Americans to be based in the Gulf state. The U.S. Treasury last week sanctioned a network it said was recruiting and training Colombian mercenaries for combat in Sudan in support of the rebel Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. The UAE has denied backing the RSF or funding the involvement of mercenaries in Sudan's 2.5-year-old civil war.
James, thank you very much for your time this morning. Much appreciated on Radio Islam International.
Always a pleasure to be with you. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.